My name is Kaylee Schumacher, and for my philosophical informative question answering video, I'm going to be answering the question of whether or not bioprinting of organs is ethical. My definition of bioprinting is the use of advanced technology to create human tissues and organs, often used for transplants. This is a really important topic because there are people affected all over the world, over the continent, all over this country every day, and there are tons of people that cannot get organs to save their life and their loved ones' lives. There are about 103,000 people a day on the wait list waiting for a life-saving organ or any kind of transplant from a donor. This includes children, and about 13 of these people die every single day, which is really sad. But on the upside, one donor can save 8 lives and possibly enhance 75 more, which is huge and could be a huge thing in the medical field. But I will be comparing the standpoints of Mill, Kant, and Aristotle and applying these ethical standpoints and seeing whether or not this idea could be ethical. According to Mill, his core idea of this is that he believes that actions are right if they can maximize happiness and minimize suffering. Happiness is good things, which would be saving people's lives and finding them organs, but the unhappiness of this would be people dying and suffering. So the options of this are pretty much you use the bioprinting or you don't. There's no in between. It's either we go the way that we're going or we don't. And this could either save some lives, it could reduce suffering, but of course it has lots of risks that we're not too sure about yet. But according to Mill and this greatest happiness principle, it would be ethical to use bioprinting because it could save a lot more lives rather than continue with people dying on a daily basis. Of course, adding more into this is net happiness matters, not just total happiness, which is a quote from Mill. And if only wealthy people benefit, it becomes less ethical. So that means that if we go more into depth and more into this happiness or not happiness, pretty much only people that would be able to afford printing these organs would be able to use them. So that's what would make this more of an unethical standpoint, because not everyone would have access to it. But if it was a free thing offered by the medical field, then it would be ethical according to Mill. So for this, I think overall Mill would support the idea of bioprinting because it reduces death and suffering with people and saves lots of lives. But of course, the wealth is an issue. For Kant and his core idea, it would be that Kant believes ethics is about duty and following moral rules, not just what the outcome would be, unlike Mill. And people must never be treated as mere means. So this is applying this FUL principle, and the maxim of the use of bioprinting is to create organs to save lives, which is our maxim. And to universalize that, again, we're taking this wealth thing and being that not everyone would have access to this and not everyone would be able to do this. So ultimately it would not be able to be universalized unless it was going to be an option for free, or a very, very cheap thing covered under insurance and things like that. Comparing of whether this is ethical or not, according to Kant, it's going to be ethical if it respects people's wealth and lack of wealth, if people are not exploited or used in this, and if it's used to help all people, not just some in a specific group. And it would be unethical if humans are treated like test subjects, and would be used for more research-based rather than helping to save their lives. And if these organs are bought by people, so again, this wealth issue would be a big thing, because if people are being bumped up in the wait list or given these organs for more money, then of course that is an unethical standpoint of creating this technology in order to save lives, not to just be wealthy. But yes, I do believe that Kant would say that bioprinting is only ethical if it respects all humans and all human dignity, whether of how much money or how many people lives it saves. So it could be, but where it is right now, it is not as ethical. For Aristotle, of course, he explains more whether or not it's in good character or for becoming a good person. And as he says, ethics is about finding the right balance, called the golden mean. So creating this would be a good thing because we are saving lives. And it is not just someone creating something, but it is used in the medical field. So looking through this from his standpoint of virtues, it would be compassion because you are helping people that are sick and could die, responsibility of using the technology safely and being trained in it, wisdom of thinking in the long term and being able to help these people for long times in their whole entire life, and of course this idea of generosity and being able to save these people's lives when they didn't think that they had that option. Those are the virtues that I found in this, and the really important ones. But on the other side of Aristotle's views, the vices would be that people would get greedy and use these bioprinting things for things that they don't need, and could be used for like cosmetics, just not what it is meant for. And of course it could be unsafe if used incorrectly by someone not trained in it. So this mean, or this golden mean in the middle, would be that using the technology safely and correctly and not using it to benefit wealth would make it ethical in Aristotle's viewpoint. So my kind of conclusion here is that Mill supports bioprinting because it would maximize happiness. Kant is more cautious on the idea and would focus on how it affects the people, and Aristotle wants it to be about character and having it be a responsible use by medical field and not taken for advantage of. I believe that it could be taken advantage of, but could be very helpful in the medical field.